Military expert, retired colonel of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Roman Svitan, commented on the likelihood of a new offensive by the aggressor country, Russia, from Belarus. The Russians will definitely not go for such an adventure, and we will not allow even an attempt to carry out something similar. Now we have serious fortifications along the northern border with Belarus, and several tens of thousands of our troops are deployed there. He emphasized in an interview with Glavred. The expert says that the Ukrainian Armed Forces will now not even allow Russian troops to approach the border. They will be destroyed on Belarusian territory, and if something moves in our direction, then, like a light in a bathhouse, the entire Belarusian economy will turn off, because we will deal a serious blow to Belarusian oil refineries and railways. Belaruskali, Mozyr Oil Refinery, Naftan, all traction substations on the railway, overpasses and the rest, he did not rule out. The interlocutor noted that all these Belarusian enterprises will be destroyed within a few hours. We have such an opportunity. It's not a flight of several hundred kilometers to the Urals, but, let's say, to the Mozyr Oil Refinery, only 40 kilometers. One salvo of Smersh, and that's it. The oil refinery will be gone. Lukashenko understands all this perfectly well, and he will not allow such a situation. Otherwise, his rule in Belarus will end. The analyst explained. He's also confident that talk about Russian-Belarusian exercises in the fall is simply information waves. Perhaps in this way, Russia is trying to scare our European partners who could be deployed along the Belarusian border as part of peacekeeping missions in order to free our troops and allow them to carry out combat missions in the eastern direction. The Russians understand that these processes are currently underway, negotiations are progressing, and that is why they raised this issue. Svitan added, "Let us recall that about 14 new units consisting of Belarusian military and Wagnerites have been created in Belarus. These units may be used to support Russian troops in the Kursk region in February."
In 2024,
the top U.S. commander in the Pacific warned senators that the military support China and North Korea are giving Russia in its war on Ukraine is creating a security risk in his region as Moscow provides critical military assistance to both in return. According to Associated Press, Admiral Samuel Papero, head of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, told the Senate Armed Services Committee that China has provided 70% of the machine tools and 90% of the legacy chips to Russia to help Moscow rebuild its war machine. In exchange, he said, China is potentially getting help in technologies to make its submarines move more quietly, along with other assistance. Senators pressed Papero and General Xavier Brunson, commander of U.S. Forces Korea, on China's advances in the region, including threats to Taiwan. And they also questioned both on the U.S. military presence in South Korea, and whether it should be shielded from personnel cuts.
In 2024, the People's Liberation Army demonstrated growing capabilities through persistent pressure operations, with military pressure against Taiwan increasing by 300%. China's increasingly aggressive actions near Taiwan are not just exercises, they are rehearsals. And while the PLA attempts to intimidate the people of Taiwan and demonstrate coercive capabilities, these actions are backfiring, drawing increased global attention and accelerating Taiwan's own defense preparations. As General Brunson said, North Korea's development of advanced nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles pose a direct threat to our homeland and our allies, and are executing a deepening cooperation with Russia. Russia's growing military cooperation with China adds another layer of complexity, creating a compounded challenge with the deepening cooperation among China, Russia, and North Korea. And China and Russia's Pacific Fleet is a growth enterprise. U.S. Indo-PACOM deters these challenges to regional stability and competition and crisis while maintaining the availability to prevail. But that margin is eroding, as Chairman and Ranking Member have discussed. In 2024, we conducted 120 joint exercises, among them 20 major joint exercises, including not just the U.S. Joint Force, but allies and partners. We continue to strengthen the relationship with Japan, South Korea, Australia, the Philippines, India, Taiwan, the ASEAN nations, Pacific Island countries, and in fact, European partners are active in the theater.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte visited wounded soldiers in an Odessa hospital on Tuesday and presented them with medals. According to Associated Press, Rutte and Zelensky spoke to soldiers and medical staff and took photos with soldiers. The two leaders also held bilateral talks in the southern city on Tuesday. According to the Ukrainian presidential office, among the topics of discussion was the security of Ukraine and the whole of Europe.
І щоб військовослужбовці максимально отримали допомогу.
Бажаємо здоров'я.
Yeah. So you have some visitors here. Yeah.
Щось не вистачає вам.
Поранення нижніх кінцівок, зараз проводиться лікування.
And where were you fighting?
3,5 місяці.
З Києвом? Да.
Where were you fighting?
Херсон.
Kherson. Yeah.
Ще погоди.
Бахмутська нас. Чудося, бодро вже.
Сидіть, Олександр.
Дякую.
Дякую вам за службу.
Дякую. Служу українському народу.
Дякую вам за службу.
Дякую.
Щасливо.
Дякую.
Окей.
Старший сержант Граждан.
Молодець.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Ну, вже більш-менш.
Так, можу вже трошки шевелити.
Слава Богу.
А слово змінити?
Як наші лікарі.
Найкращі в світі. Їм велика це все подяка, що ставить нас таких минулих. Ілля Трифоновичу.
Також це частина фізіотерапії.
Тут проводиться основний. Також з 14 року служу захищаю.
14 року.
Yeah. Trying to get in.
Велике вам дякую.
Дякую.
Служу українському народу. Україна понад все.
Вітаю.
Дякую. Служу українському народу. Дякую.
Дякую за
Служу
службу.
українському народу.
And comfortable.
It's nice.
It's nice.